Good morning, boys and girls. Hello, hello, Mr. Graham here, and I was wanting to read you a book today. A silly book, because I'm in a silly mood. Can you make a silly face? And I thought this was a pretty silly book, Duck on a Tractor. Doesn't that sound silly? Have you ever heard of a duck driving a tractor? That's pretty funny. This one's a sequel to the book Duck on a Bike. Do you remember we'd read Duck on a Bike in our library? We had that at Helping Hand. And at the very end of that one, he looked at this tractor and was like, wonder if I could ride that. Well, they made a sequel. That means a second book and a second one, like a second movie, a sequel, part two. And this is part two to Duck on a Bike. This one is called Duck on a Tractor by David Shannon. Now let's read about this silliness. Here we go. Down on the farm, Duck sometimes got wild ideas. One day he decided he could ride a bike, so he did. Then he spotted the tractor. I bet I can drive a tractor, he said. Quack. The other animals weren't so sure, but they all said, well, if he can ride a bike, maybe he can drive a tractor too. Ooh. So Duck climbed on the tractor and looked around. He pushed some pedals and wiggled a metal stick, but nothing happened. Then a shiny little piece of metal by the steering wheel caught his eye. He pulled it out and he pushed it in, and then he turned it, and all of a sudden the tractor shook and coughed and rumbled. It began to move. At first it moved very slowly, and it jerked a lot, but it was fun. Duck drove around the barnyard until he got the hang of it. Then he stopped in front of the other animals. Climb on, everybody, shouted Duck. Quack, quack. Dog was first. He jumped right up next to Duck. Woof, said Dog, but what he thought was, we're going for a ride. To everyone's surprise, Cow clambered on next. Moo, said Cow. But what she thought was, this is the silliest thing I've ever done. Pig and Pig took a seat in back. Oink, oink, said Pig and Pig. But what they thought was, this sure beats walking. Then came Chicken, Mouse, and Goat. Squawk, said Chicken. But what she thought was, last one on is a rotten egg. Squeak, said Mouse. But what she thought was, I can see everything from up here. Meh, said Goat. What do you think Goat said? Remember, he likes to eat anything. But what he thought was, I'm hungry. Does the garbage dump have a drive-through window? He's silly, that goat. There's the chicken. There's the goat and the pig. Can you find the mouse? Where's the mouse? There he is. And there's the feet of Duck. And oh, this looks like Dog right beside him. I wonder where Cow is. Let's see. On there somewhere. Next up were Horse and Cat. Cat jumped up gracefully onto the tractor. Horse not so much. Meow, said Cat. But what she thought was, I was going to take a nap, but this should be very interesting. Nay, said Horse. But what he thought was, I think I'd rather walk. Looks kind of difficult for the horse to be up on that tractor. The only one left on the ground was Sheep. Bah, said Sheep, but what she thought was, this is too dangerous. Get on, Sheep, everyone shouted, but Sheep wouldn't budge, so Duck started driving away without her. Wait, cried Sheep. Don't leave me here all alone. She ran after the tractor and took a flying leap onto it. Quack, yelled Duck, but what he thought was, wahoo! Duck steered the tractor down the lane and out onto the main road, and before long they were driving right through the middle of town. It was lunchtime, so most people were in the diner. They all looked up when Duck and the other animals passed by the big window. There's where they're eating. Could you imagine if you were in town eating at the diner and you looked up, saw a tractor driving by with a duck driving it and all those animals on it? Oh my goodness, that would be crazy. Very silly. And looky here, this is what they were looked like as they were watching the tractor with all the animals on there. The police officer and the waitress and the boy, he's got a camera with his grandma. A little boy named Edison was having lunch with his grandma. Did you ever, Grandma gasped. But what she thought was, a duck on a tractor? That's impossible. That's totally awesome, Edison shouted. But what he thought was, no one's going to believe this. Marcine, the waitress, looked up from her pad and noticed Cat. Heavens to Betsy, she exclaimed. But what she thought was, I like cats. Deputy Bob blabbered, if that don't beat all. But what he thought was, how am I going to explain this to the sheriff? A man named Otis chimed in. I must be seeing things. What he thought was, oh no, not again. Holy cow, hollered Manny the cook. What he thought was, holy cow, because Manny usually said exactly what he thought. You know, there was a cow on there, on the tractor. The mayor almost choked on his pie. Good gravy, he sputtered. But what he thought was, those pigs are even fatter than I am. Corky just whistled. But what he thought was, that duck is smarter than he looks. Gwen came out of the restroom. Would you look at that, she exclaimed. But what she thought was, I can't see a thing without my glasses. Farmer Odell observed, that's a dang nice tractor. But what he thought was, hey, that's my tractor. Could you imagine if it was your tractor that you were looking at with all those animals? Oh, my goodness. He decided he'd better go after it and ran out the door. Everyone else ran out too and chased after him. There they go. I like the view of this illustration of this drawing, this picture, because it's from up above. You're seeing, here's the farmer from up above, like as if you were like in a helicopter or something right above these guys, and here they all come running. It's a neat way of looking at it, a different viewpoint. And then, by this time, Duck had turned onto the next street. The tractor shuddered to a stop. Duck tried turning the shiny little piece of metal again, but nothing happened. Look. What do you think's going on? What's wrong? I don't know much about spelling, said Doug, but I think that E means it's the end of our ride. E for end. Sheep clattered her throat. You know, she said, I think we might get in trouble for this. Let's get out of here, quack, yelled Duck, just as Farmer Odell and everyone from the diner came around the corner. And what do you think they saw? Look, here they are. No words on this page, just lots of expressions on all the people looking. Everyone burst out laughing. Nah, they all said. It couldn't have been. Look, there's no animals on the tractor now. They all took off before the people got there to see them. And so then the people were like, did we really see that, or were we just imagining things? It was an optical illusion, exclaimed Otis. Farmer Odell said he must have left his tractor running by accident. I guess that explains it, Deputy Bob agreed. Then they all went back to the diner to finish their lunch. And no one ever admitted that on that day they had seen a cow, moo, a goat, meh, look, he's eating the fence, a cat, meow, a dog, roof, a sheep, bat, a chicken, bok, bok, a horse, neigh, 2 pigs, oink, oink, a mouse, squeak, and a duck, quack, on a tractor. Oh, look, here's the last page. It looks like it's a photograph from that kid, Edison's camera, picture he took. And look, from this picture, you can see, looks like the back wheel of the tractor, and this looks like the goat maybe, and here it looks like the duck driving the tractor. It's a little blurry, but looks like they have a little proof that something wild and crazy and silly happened that day in town. A duck on a tractor. Very silly. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that silly book, and I hope you guys have a fun, silly day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.